There are fears Cyclone Jasper could re-intensify in coming days as it churns its way through the Coral Sea. The cyclone is barrelling towards North Queensland's coastline as a Category 1 system. It could re-intensify though back to a Category 2 system when it makes landfall somewhere between Cooktown and Cardwell by Wednesday. The Bureau issued its first cyclone watch last night, warning of damaging winds, heavy rainfall and a storm tide. It's prompted panic buying across the far north. Some supermarket shelves stripped bare ahead of the storm's arrival. Authorities fear Cairns could go underwater if Jasper strikes the city at the king tide that is predicted for Wednesday morning.
And that's our fear, our complacency. Everyone says we're protected by the mountains, we're protected by something else. But we haven't had a direct hit for 67 years. So we're overdue. Stay alert, but not alarmed. But the main thing is to be informed.
Authorities are warning residents to prepare for Tropical Cyclone Jasper, of course. So what about the meteorological conditions? Let's go to Sky News Weather's Alison Osborne explaining just how dangerous cyclones can get.
Australia is one of the most tropical cyclone-prone countries in the world. On average, 11 form in our waters every year, with the official cyclone season running from November to April. Our cyclone-prone coastline extends all the way from the Western Pilbara in WA right across to the Great Barrier Reef in Queensland, just like our little coastal town here. A tropical cyclone is essentially a large low-pressure system that forms over warm tropical oceans. The water acts as fuel for the big rotating system as it gets stronger. Cyclones are classified in strength from Category 1, the weakest, to 5, a severe tropical cyclone. When a tropical cyclone watch is issued by the Bureau of Meteorology, get ready. This means that gales are expected to start hitting our town here in 48 hours. A tropical cyclone warning gives you 24 hours notice. A red warning. It's time to take shelter, and you should. As a cyclone approaches our coastline here, you'll notice the winds become stronger and more destructive as rainfall becomes more intense. It's dangerous. Winds near the centre of a cyclone can reach up to 280 kilometres per hour. At this point, branches are tearing off trees, becoming flying missiles, and most of these shops are not in a good way. Awnings are getting ripped off. Watch out! Life-threatening flash flooding can also strike at this point, as rivers of water are now rushing through our town. Most dangerous of all, storm surge and high tides that can swamp coastal regions, moving many kilometres inland. And watch out for this boat. It's a hazard. And then, all at once, calm returns. But do not be deceived. This is the eye of a severe tropical cyclone. Winds are light and the skies are clear. But this brief lull will soon be replaced by more destructive winds coming in from the other direction, continuing to wreak havoc until the cyclone moves inland and weakens. The aftermath of a tropical cyclone can be devastating for entire communities, with power and water down. With at least one system crossing Australia's coastline every year since reliable records began in the 1970s, if you live in a cyclone-prone area, you should be prepared.
Joining me live for more on this, Cassowary Coast Region Mayor Mark Nolan, who's in Innisfail, about an hour south of Cairns. Thanks for your time. I mean, this part of the world, you're somewhat used to this, sadly. In particular, Larry and Yasi, quite a few years ago, hit you really hard. What are your expectations here and how concerned are residents?
Yeah, good afternoon, Tom. We're well prepared and we're watching closely how the system tracks towards the coast. Our District Disaster Management Group and Local Disaster Management Group met this morning and we've got everything planned. There's no panic and we're just waiting to see what the system does. It's 600k east of Cairns at the moment, tracking towards us. So we just monitor the situation. We've been through some big ones before, as you said, Tom, so we're well versed in disaster management.
How well has that prepared you in a sort of medium and longer term sense? Because I remember going through Cardwell after Yasi and it was flattened. Very few of the buildings and homes survived. Even the evacuation centre was totally flattened. Thankfully, no one was in there at the time. Has there been that ability to build back a bit stronger in those areas that were really hit by those two really big cyclones?
Yeah, Tom. The Queensland Reconstruction Authority has a motto, build back better, and that's exactly what Cassowary Coast Regional Council did post-Yasi. Jasper also brings a threat of a tidal surge with it. As I said, we had a meeting this morning, and residents are getting sandbags at the moment, ready to see what the system does early Wednesday morning. Unfortunately, it's time to cross the coast right on top of a high tide. So, yeah, coastal inundation is a threat.
Yeah, that's tricky, isn't it? Because you can, make things Cat 1, Cat 5 proof, but when you're talking about that inundation, it's much trickier. Is that actually looming as the biggest threat right now if that timing does work out?
Absolutely, Tom. That's why our energies are all going into sandbagging and getting ready. But we've got to wait on the system. If it speeds up or slows down, changes direction, then our plans change with it.
I guess, yeah, you're not exactly hoping it hits somewhere else because you don't want anywhere hit too hard, but the timing could be the most crucial element of it. In terms of overall preparations then, are you feeling okay? Is there anything that you think could have been done better preparing for this summer? I mean, every summer I know you're preparing for disasters.
No, Tom, preparation has been excellent and our community have responded. Our transfer stations over the weekend were hectic. People tidying up their yards, getting their green waste sorted out and dispersing it into our transfer stations. So our community is resilient, they're prepared, and we just sit back now and watch the system and take it from there.
I know plenty of our viewers up north will be tuning in. Just advice for them. I know again, having covered some of these things, some of the deaths tragically are often from people with generators inside. That's a big no-no with that fuel. Not to do that. And then the obvious one, not going outside when you think it's all over. Sometimes you're in the eye of the storm.
Yeah, you've got to be careful in the eye of the storm. Again, our community have been well educated around cautions during the event and post the event. So, yeah, we're ready to go.
All the best as that weather system bears down. Mark Nolan, thanks for your time.